course, if you want to extend that statement, I said yesterday that through growth and maturity, those men that have Christ enthroned in their hearts, that eventually they will attain unto maturity to be victorious witnesses as they serve the purposes of God. And then, of course, number two, that Christ, through the gospel as a value system, will be enthroned across every strata of human activities. The Bible sadly tells us that Satan also has an agenda. In 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, the Bible tells us to be sober. It says to be vigilant, because your adversary, he calls him, the devil, is like a roaring lion. He walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Praise the name of the Lord. So Satan wants to destroy lives, territories. John 10:10, the Bible calls him the thief, and that every time he shows up, it is to kill, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And then Jesus says, I am come that they may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. If you understand me so far, shout amen. Now, I wrote something here and I want you to listen very carefully. Every attack of Satan on the saints is a progressive attempt to actualize his agenda of stealing, killing, and destruction. I'll take that again. Every attack of Satan on the saints is a progressive attempt to actualize his agenda of killing, stealing, and destruction. Whether the attack comes as sickness, demonic oppression, joblessness, poverty, frustration, mental issues, marital breakdown, it doesn't matter in what form or in what fashion. Every attack of Satan on the saints is a progressive attempt to actualize his agenda of stealing, of killing, and of destruction. What is Satan's agenda really? Let me spell it out for you in clear terms so that you are not left at a loss. Satan's number one agenda is to stop men from knowing Jesus and accessing the life that comes through the gospel. Please never forget that. Satan's number one agenda is to stop men, all men, Americans, Europeans, Chinese, all people groups, Africans, to stop men from knowing Jesus and then accessing the life that comes through the gospel. That's his number one agenda. Number two, to cause men to perpetually, I wrote here, rebel against the government of Jesus and the culture that comes from that government. To cause men to perpetually rebel against the government of heaven or the government of Jesus, and then the culture of love, the culture of unity, the culture of decency, the culture of togetherness. Satan does not just fight men, he also fights culture. Are we together? Who is learning so far? So Satan has an agenda, number one, to stop men. I was so touched by the testimony of the gentleman who was once a Muslim. Can you imagine? 9 siblings, and one by one, the power of the gospel began to do its work in all of them until we have all of them saved. Glory to Jesus. I can tell you for free, if you want to know Satan, if you want to know where Satan is, find out where the gospel is being preached. I can tell you without prophesying, he's there. He's there. He wants to fight to see to it that many do not know Jesus and that they do not access the life that comes through the gospel. And then number two, to cause men to perpetually rebel against the government of Jesus. Look up. What do you think makes people to hate God and hate church and hate ministers? You think that hatred is intrinsic? No, it's not. No, it's not. There is a spirit that is behind the rebellion. When you find people who hate everything God, they hate everything church, it doesn't matter what excuse they give. I tell you, hating the gospel and hating everything that is God is demonic. The individual may not be an evil person, but there is a software at work in that individual. Are we together? An engineering that came from the pit of hell that causes him to hate everything that is God. How does Satan do this? He programs every civilization to hate God and then to fight those who love him. Pay attention. Satan carries out his agenda by programming a civilization to, number one, hate God, and then number two, to fight those who love him. He doesn't stop at making people hate God. He goes further to make men fight anyone who loves God. All through church history, believers have been persecuted. Those who love God at one point or the other in history, we find people persecuted in various ways and in various degrees. The Bible leaves us with an archive of men and women who died for Jesus Christ. They were hated for nothing. Many of them were burned. Many of them were thrown to lions, roasted in oil, and all kinds of things. When you read church history, Satan has a hatred for God's program, and the way he does it is that he programs every civilization to hate God and to fight those who love him. Now, this is the prophetic message God gave me, and the church in America, please, I want you to listen. I want to show you the progression, how Satan destroys godliness within a territory. If you do not understand this, you cannot be apostolic in your Christian experience. Are we together? Apostolic Christianity means that you are burdened with the desire of God beyond your personal needs. When you are a believer who is all about yourself, your comfort, and all of that, and you stop there, you are not apostolic in your understanding. Apostolic Christianity demands that your life is all about God's program. Are we together? In addition to your well-being, in addition to your welfare. So you see that most believers are really not apostolic. Their entire concern is to love God passively, carelessly for some, and then have their needs met, live a good life, and then continue that way. That's not the kind of army God is raising. God is raising an army that will be burdened. Everything that becomes his burden also becomes your burden. Are we together? That you don't watch a nation